Okay, so we're diving into something today that I know a lot of you guys have been following.
Definitely a headline grabber.
Yeah, for sure. And honestly, um, kind of a sad one when you get down to it, you know?
Absolutely. It's one of those situations that, well, it's playing out so publicly, and you can't help but feel a little bit, I don't know, intrusive maybe, even though it's all over the media.
Yeah, we're talking about Jacqueline Jossa and Dan Osborne and specifically this whole thing with their split, which seems like it's getting messier by the day.
Right. And we've got this article from the Daily Mail Online from Tuesday, March 25th, 2025, and it's really laying it all out there. The title is even Jacqueline Jossa and Dan Osborne seen having a heated discussion outside Essex home after Star was supported by pals at her friend's hen do weekend. So you just know going into it, it's going to be juicy.
Yeah, so what are we looking to really pull out of this today? Because obviously there's the surface level drama, but
Right. There's always more to it.
always more to it.
Yeah.
So how are we going to approach this deep dive?
Well, I think what's most interesting to me is trying to understand what's really going on between them, like beyond the headlines. What's the core issue? What led to this split? And then maybe even take a stab at where things might go from here. It's all speculation, of course, but that's part of what makes it so fascinating.
Right. And it's not like we have any inside scoop. This is all based on what's being reported.
Yeah,
But still, I think we can read between the lines a little bit, put the pieces together.
absolutely. So let's start with this encounter outside their former home in Essex that the article describes. I mean, that image alone is so telling, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. Just picturing Jacqueline in her workout clothes, talking to Dan through his car window, it already sets a certain tone, doesn't it?
It does. There's this inherent distance there, a formality that you wouldn't necessarily expect from a couple who, were married for 8 years and have this history together.
Yeah. And the article even describes the conversation as initially tense, with Jacqueline gesturing a lot, but then later she smiles, and when Dan arrives, he's got this thumbs up thing going on. It's like this weird mix of tension and maybe trying to keep it civil.
Right. And you have to wonder what's going through their minds in that moment. Like, is it just about logistics of, separating their lives, or is there some lingering affection? There's some hope, maybe.
Well, and that's where the whole reason for the split comes in, right? The article really emphasizes this whole thing with Dan buying a new house behind your back. That's being called the ultimate betrayal, and apparently reignited all these old trust issues they've had.
Right. And when you think about it, buying a house is a huge deal. It's not just an impulsive purchase, it's a statement about your future. And to do that without even consulting your partner, let alone your wife of 8 years, it's a pretty clear indication that something's seriously wrong.
Yeah, and the fact that they mention old trust issues makes you think this wasn't just a one-time thing. Like, there's probably a pattern of behavior here that led to this breaking point.
And it makes you wonder what those past issues were, what they went through as a couple, and how much of that history is influencing their current situation.
And what's interesting is that this whole tense encounter happens right after Jacqueline's been at a friend's hen do weekend. And the article makes a point of saying she's in high spirits, wearing the whole team bride getup and posting about it on social media.
Yeah, it's that classic putting on a brave face for the public thing, isn't it? Like you're going through this major personal upheaval, but you still have to maintain a certain image, especially when you're in the public eye.
Right. Or maybe she genuinely needed that distraction,
Yeah.
like surrounding herself with friends and just trying to have a good time amidst all this drama.
Oh, absolutely. It's entirely possible that she found some genuine joy in that weekend. It's just, you can't help but wonder what was going on beneath the surface, those private moments when the cameras are off and she's alone with her thoughts.
And it's not like this Hindu came out of nowhere. The article mentions that just before it, there were all these reports that the marriage was basically over, despite Jacqueline's efforts to save it.
Yeah.
Sources told The Sun that Dan had fallen out of love and wanted to move on.
Yeah, and that really highlights the potential for mismatched feelings in a breakup.
Yeah.
One person's still holding on to hope while the other's already checked out emotionally.
Yeah.
It's got to be incredibly painful.
Yeah, the article really emphasizes Jacqueline's devastation, like she's absolutely devastated and wants to make the marriage work. But according to these reports, Dan's telling his friends it's over, and while he's not rushing into a divorce, it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, it's that whole when not if scenario, and it just underscores the challenges they're facing and trying to navigate this separation with such different perspectives and desires.
And it's so sad because you can really feel Jacqueline's heartbreak in the article. Like it says she hasn't even initiated any conversation about divorce, even though they're separate and everything. It's like she's still clinging to the hope that they can work things out.
Yeah, it's that classic denial phase of grief, isn't it? You're
Yeah.
just not ready to accept that it's truly over and you're holding on to any shred of hope that you can salvage what you had.
And it's understandable, right? They were together for over 10 years, married for 8, built a life together, had kids. It's not easy to just let go of that kind of history and commitment.
Absolutely. And it's important to remember that even though they're celebrities, they're still human beings going through a very painful and personal experience.
Right, and it's not just their own emotions. They have to deal with either they have 2 young daughters together, and in their official statement, they really emphasize their commitment to co-parenting and building a positive friendship for the kids.
Which is commendable, putting the children's well-being first, even amidst their own struggles.
Mm.
It's definitely the mature and responsible approach.
Yeah, because you know how messy these things can get, especially
Mm.
when it's so public and every little detail is scrutinized. But it seems like they're at least trying to maintain a united front when it comes to their kids.
Yeah, and hopefully they can actually achieve that because the last thing those children need is to be caught in the middle of their parents' drama.
And speaking of their kids, it's got to be so hard for them to see their family home being sold,
Mm.
right? The article mentions that Jacqueline was the sole owner of this like £2 million mansion, their dream home, as they called it, and now it's gone.
Yeah, it's like this physical manifestation of their broken dreams, isn't it? And for Jacqueline, who owned it outright and envisioned it as their forever home, it must be incredibly bittersweet to see it go.
Yeah, and it's not just the financial aspect of it, it's the memories, the hopes, the future they thought they were building there. It's all gone now.
Right. It's a powerful symbol of the finality of their separation and the loss of that shared vision they once had.
And when you look back at their timeline, it's like there were hints along the way, right? They married in June 2017, so they've been together for over a decade now. But Jacqueline last publicly acknowledged Dan online in July for their anniversary and his birthday. And then Dan was spotted without his wedding ring earlier in March before they officially announced the separation this month.
Yeah, those little details often speak volumes, don't they? Like the lack of public interaction, the missing ring. It all suggests that trouble was brewing long before they made it official.
So it's like this slow burn that's finally reached its climax, and now we're seeing the aftermath.
Exactly. And who knows what the next chapter holds for them individually or as co-parents. But it's definitely a story that's captured the public's attention, and it's hard not to feel invested in some way.
Yeah, and when you pull it all together from this one article, we see this picture of a relationship that crumbled under the weight of broken trust, with each person processing the heartbreak in their own way. Jacqueline seemingly wanting to reconcile, and Dan, according to these sources, seeing it as the end, and through it all, they're trying to navigate this very public split while prioritizing their kids and figuring out how to move forward both personally and practically.
And I think that's what makes this whole story so relatable. Even though they're celebrities, they're dealing with very human emotions and challenges. The pain of betrayal, the struggle to let go, the complexities of co-parenting after a split. It's something that so many people can connect with on some level.
Yeah, and it makes you think about the toll that public scrutiny takes on relationships. Like how do you maintain a sense of privacy and normalcy when every fight, every disagreement is splashed across the headlines? It's got to be incredibly difficult.
Absolutely. And it begs the question, does that constant pressure contribute to the breakdown, or would they have faced these same challenges even if they weren't in the public eye? It's a bit of a chicken or the egg situation.
Right, and it really makes you wonder about the resilience of relationships in general. Like, what does it take to truly break that bond beyond repair? And how do you pick up the pieces and rebuild your life after such a significant loss? It's something to ponder for sure.
It definitely is. It's a reminder that relationships are complex and ever evolving, and sometimes despite our best efforts, they just don't work out. And it's in those moments of heartbreak and uncertainty that we learn the most about ourselves and our capacity for growth and resilience.
Well said. And on that note, we'll leave you to ponder those very thoughts for yourself. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of celebrity heartbreak and relationship complexities. Until next time.
Stay curious.